Hello everyone, first let me introduce myself. My name is Eunike from class 3A Civil Engineering. In this video, I'm going to explain one of the existing work system on civil work, that of hauling or ventilation system. First, a major factor to consider in designing a house is how to make the householder feel comfortable at home and at work. To make a home comfortable, there are several requirements that must be met. Among them, a sufficient amount of lighting and electrical and sufficient room. Indonesians who meet tropical climate on one side has an advantage in sunshine and wind blowing most of the year. But on the other side of the condition become a dilemma, as conditions in the home become hot. For this reason, it is necessary to consider a ventilation system that cools the temperature inside while also making the situation bright. In principle, space is comfortable if there's a draft. The interior of the house would be comfortable if the air was blowing at a speed of 0.1 until 0.15 meter per second. If lower than that value, would cause the room to feel stuffy, hot, and sultry, whereas when wind speeds higher than required value cause pain. To make airflow ideal, the direction of wind come at home must be taken into consideration because it is closely related to harvesting the openings. First, basic principle of ventilation. Ventilation is good if the system occurs naturally in the sense that it does so without the assistance of such things as fans and air conditioning. If natural ventilation fails to run smoothly, it will need tools to help regulate our air circulation. But with the right design settings and know-how of the ventilation system, pros of natural ventilation is visible. Therefore, it should be known that ventilation bases itself on two principles, which are a horizontal ventilation. Horizontal fans arise because of air from the source that comes horizontally. This condition can occur when one side, the part of the house, is purposely overhead and on the other side is milder. The cool condition can be obtained when the section will grow a shady tree or it is often overshadowed. Remember the basic principle of air that flows from high pressure cold areas to low pressure areas. B. Vertical ventilation. The basic principle of vertical ventilation is to make use of the different layers of air, both inside and outside, that have these kinds of weight differences. These vertical fans would be helpful to a two-story or more building home. Second, design the ventilation system. Home ventilation system can be designed to achieve maximum levels of comfort. To create enough wind to get inside the building, one way to do so is to modify the temperature in the home environment. This, modifica- this modification is intended to provoke the wind to move in the direction of the home we live in. Given the basic principle that water flows from the cold under high pressure to the hot low pressure, a luxuriatory plane may serve as an alternative to provoke the wind to move close to home. The location of the placement was selected in the area that cut the wind in the direction of the building. The characteristic of the wind when entering the area of the house usually move horizontal. In turn, the wind, the flowing air, is put into the house through the openings. It can be windows, buffon latch, rooster holes, doors, skylight, as well as a hole in the roof and a ceiling. The principle of making ventilation in the home is how to make it easier to move from the outside to the inside as well as vice versa. Hence, the laying of vent openings was an important factor. For the incoming wind to flow smoothly, the ventilation duct is done face to face. These conditions make it easier for currents to exchange, where one section comes in front of the other floor expands and vice versa. But it's important to remember that air currents can run across space and that the elevation of opposite ventilation ducts will be best to vary. Not only does the air flows in the house move horizontally, but it also moves vertically. This harmonies with the basic principle that air flows from high pressure areas cold to low pressure areas hot. The upper part of the house tends to be hotter than the lower part because of the warming of the building by the sun on the roof of the building. This condition causes air to move from the ground up. In order for the hot air to escape and the flowing is necessary to place a fan at the top of the house. Thus, air can be washed by colder air than at the bottom of the house. The ideal house has 15% until 20% of the total footprint. The proportion of the air volume needed from each space have different values. It adjusts to the function of the space. Bedrooms affect humidity, so it requires a change of air by 6 times the value of space. Calculate volume of room height. Say a bedroom measures 3 centimeters, height by 3 meters. 3 times 3 times 3 times 6 to 162 meters, whereas the bedroom needs a 2 per 3 volume of space every hour. For those designed and integrate with an open space like a garden, ventilation would hardly be an issue. But what about the space in the middle of another room and it is not possible to create openings for ventilation? For a room in the middle and there is no opening in the air, a different approach would have to be made. We could use a device to help air circulation, an exhaust fan or ventilation fan. Exhaust fan has a variety of exhaust, including wall mount installed on the wall, ceiling mount installed on the ceiling, and window mount installed in the window. The principle of an exhaust fan deployment is to intersect with the openings ahead. This was to enable the full range of air travel. Good ventilation system planning was a lot of profit. Amid the proliferation of the energy saving issue, a house designed with a good ventilation system also supports the program. Good howling system will minimize use of space conditioning. On the other hand, fan openings serve to include celestial light while also supporting natural lighting system in the home, so that light use could be both minimized and minimized. So it wouldn't hard to start thinking about your home ventilation system. That's all I can say on this video. I'm sorry for my mistake and thank you for your attention. See you again.